to me, Michele, on the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
Welcome back to the Talk to Me Michele podcast. Now, today I'm chopping it up with someone who has been living in Panama before it was trending, y'all. Okay, he didn't move on a trend. He was there before it went that way. But Big Will from Go Explore Panama, he and his wife have been helping people relocate, explore, and actually thrive in Panama for years. So, if you've ever thought about packing up, trading the traffic in for tropical living, this is the episode for you. So it is my pleasure to bring in Big Will from Go Explore Panama.
Buenos dias, que sopa, mis gentes. How y'all doing?
See, I don't feel so bad.
Hey, it's a process. It's a process. It's a process. Look,
You are
aprendiendo
not.
español. Yo hablo español como un niño que tiene 6 años. That means I speak Spanish like a 6-year-old boy.
At least you're trying, okay? At least you got some form of communication. And I'm sure where you being in Panama, you have to.
Got to. You got to. If you're going to be in Panama, knowing a little bit of Spanish is going to be the key to having a happy life. You can live here and struggle and always translate, but as soon as you start making an effort to speak their language, the Panamanians and the people here are going to be a lot more receptive to you and a lot more friendly to you. And, then you'll get to see some of the positive parts of the personalities come out. If you just try to speak in English, they may ignore you, wait to serve you because you're not even attempting, you're not even trying. So please give it an effort.
Yeah, please, y'all, give it an effort. We don't want to go over there and just, make it worse for ourselves when we try to explore this new peaceful chapter in our lives. So learn some Spanish. But I'm going to get into this interview. Before we get into it,
Okay.
How long have you been in Panama?
So I appreciate the introduction. There were people here before me, no doubt. We've been here going on 5 years. We came in 21 during the midst of the COVID pandemic. That was one of the reasons that led to us leaving the U.S. because we just felt unsafe in so many different areas, and that was a major one, an ongoing global pandemic. So we've been here for a little minute, and it's been, it's an adjustment, but it's not a big adjustment. It's, adjustment being away from family and friends, not in terms of missing stuff. We have all the stuff here, but being distant from your family and friends, not being around for the little birthday parties and the graduations and stuff like that. That part gets a little difficult, but the bright side is tropical weather, peace and tranquility, cost of living, access to healthcare, better food, better air, better water. Everything's pretty much better except for the presence of family and friends. So
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good trade-off.
But that's a commitment though. Because I want to know, was it love at first flight or did you question your life choices when that heat hit you?
So, when we came in 21, Panama started out as a retirement destination for us. And me and one of my boys from college were trying to figure out where we could afford to retire. We both were in the DMV, DC. He was in Northern Virginia. I was in Prince George's County. And we knew we couldn't afford to retire in that area. So I'm giving him all the traditional U.S. answers like Arizona and Alabama, all the places where I would have hated to have been politically. But those are the cheap places to live. So, and he hit me with Panama and Belize. And, Belize I'd heard of. I knew they spoke English. I didn't know that much about Panama except for Noriega and the canal. So I clowned the crap out of my friend. We're Morales brothers. We give each other a hard time. I clowned him, and then I went back and double-checked his work after I finished clowning him. And I was like, oh, he was right. Infrastructure, U.S. dollar, healthcare.
All that stuff.
We had a list of retirement destinations: Panama, Portugal, Belize, DR, usual suspects. And Panama was first on our list. We decided that we were going to vacation in all these places to, test drive if we could live there. And then the pandemic hit. I already bought the tickets to Panama. Pandemic hit. We just kept moving flights out. Got vaccinated, hit a flight 2 months later, and when we came here, we had a list of red flags. At that point, it was like, hey, we got to pull the ripcord. The ship is sinking. We need to get the lifeboats as soon as possible. And Panama hit all of the buttons. So love at first sight, yes. When we landed, the first thing we saw was Panama City. And, oh my God, here's this huge urban monstrosity right by the ocean. And, then I learned that they built all of this in 20 years. So I was just amazed by that. And then, seeing the doctors and the hospitals and everything put our mind at ease, and we didn't see a single red flag. So love at first sight. Love at first sight. Now, there's been some hiccups. We moved to the beaches at first. That was pretty cool. But, for us, we like what the city offers. There are people that really love the beaches, but I don't think we're one of them. We go out there to visit. So, it's all good. It's all good, beach people. Don't be mad at me. I know y'all get.
Everybody got a preference.
I mean, that's it. It's a personal preference. It's not a competition. But sometimes some of the people here make it feel like a competition. I mean, black people, we gotta argue about something. I don't know, spades, dominoes.
Don't get me started, okay? But I understand where you're coming from with that. But at the same time, you were able to launch Go Explore Panama with your wife. Now,
Yes.
how did you guys come up with that?
So everything started from the YouTube show, and the YouTube show started by accident. We were here for the site visit, and on the day before we were returning home, we had a meeting, had a committee meeting, and decided that this is the move for us. So I went to the pool, sat down, and started talking to my camera for 45 minutes, trying to explain to my family and friends why we were making this decision, because I don't like explaining myself 15 million times. Look, I'm just going to send you to this YouTube channel, and you can watch it from there. And I've been using YouTube for years to share our family vacations and little clips, iPhone movies of our vacations and stuff. So I already had stuff up on YouTube, but it was really just for family and friends. It was never for the general public. No one had ever watched any of my silly stuff. And then with this video that I made from Panama, all of a sudden I checked back in and had like 1,500 views. And I'm like, who are these people watching me talk? I don't understand. So by that time, Sonia was telling me about some of her YouTube people, because she was, she turned me on to YouTube. This is really her, all credit to her. And once I realized that it was an income generating thing, I looked at it as possibly being able to support ourselves here in Panama. Both of us were moving with remote jobs, but you never know what's going to happen. And it's always nice to have a little side hustle income. So I kept talking to the camera, and lo and behold, the channel grew and grew and grew. And then people started reaching out to me, asking for help. So I launched consultation calls as a way for them to be able to download information quickly. Everybody was like, hey, Big Will, can I meet you for coffee? I did that like 4 or 5 times and quickly realized, wait a minute, I can't be meeting everybody for coffee and talking for 3 or 4 hours and just, and live my life and work, because I was still working as a consultant doing federal business development at that point. So we had to codify things and just like, all right, let's do video chats. You can be anywhere, I can be anywhere, and the information can still be downloaded. So consultation calls turn into, hey, I'm coming to Panama. Can you help me schedule or put together an itinerary? So I started doing that, and that morphed into a whole business. So I've had to go through name changes for one reason or another. When I started out, it was Blacks at Panama on the YouTube channel, and then I think I went to Expat Life and then settled on Panamazing. And that was a good run until I got hit with there was a company here in Panama called Panamazing. Yeah, I did a trademark search, y'all. I paid for the trademark search in advance. I did it. I did everything I was supposed to do, but rules here are a little bit different. So
Yeah.
both of us could coexist as Panamazing, but both of us can't be registered in the Panama Tourism Authority with the same name. So since they were already registered, I had to become Go Explore Panama, and here we are.
Okay,
fully licensed, fully insured, and ready to roll.
Yeah, I mean, I was before we actually became, in touch with each other. I was
Mhm.
already subscribed to the channel. I was already watching the videos, and I was just like, man, it's got some good resourceful information.
Yeah.
And the one thing I like about your channel as well as your tours is that people are thinking about moving abroad, and you pretty much put them on the right track. But if you were to tell them right now, what's step number one? Where do you even start if you're trying to relocate or live abroad?
I think the first step is getting a good understanding of where you're going and what the process is going to be. So, like, one of the common questions I always get for people at the very beginning, they ask about citizenship. They're worried about, can they be a citizen here? And I'm like, that's so far down the road. That's a decision you can make 5 to 7 years into your journey. You need to get here first and be able to legally remain here longer than your passport allows, unless you just like flying back and forth, and that's going to get real expensive real fast.
Hmm.
So visa process is going to be one of the most important steps for people. Now, if anybody watching this, for me, I got a whole roadmap laid out for you. All you got to do is download our first steps to Panama ebook, and it has a whole little roadmap that you can follow to help guide you in this journey and not miss anything. And part of what we are trying to do with Go Explore Panama is give people access to good actionable information that they can use and help them avoid the pitfalls and low-hanging branches that we hit. Because Lord knows we made some mistakes.
Yeah.
Our friends around us made some mistakes. So we learned, we incorporated some of that into the guides and everything else. And, we're really good at what we do at this point. It's running like clockwork, and I'm very happy because it's a ministry. It's a mission. I'm trying to save some folks because
Yeah.
you see what's happening.
Exactly. Because, a matter of fact, I just had a conversation with my dad, who's, we're all coming down there soon. And he was like,
Hmm.
you got to do a checklist. Because, with me reminding him of certain things that has to be done before we leave, a checklist is going to be essential. And I know you have a free ebook, which I know it has all those bases covered. But I want to ask, what's the one thing people don't think about until it's too late? Like, they have a oh shoot moment.
Um, from my clients, I think the people I talk to have the biggest issue with the documents that you need in order to apply for residency here. So the first thing is you have to be here to start the visa process. That's point number one. So you have to make a flight, and then you have to be here long enough to go through some of the errands that are necessary throughout the visa process. So on that first trip, you need to be here for like 10 days at least, maybe 2 weeks. Then you can go back and things can happen in the dark. But the documents themselves, you have to collect all the documents in the US, and then they have to be certified or apostilled. And that's just a fancy word for certification, but you're going to hear it a lot. Everything has to be certified in the US. You cannot do it here in Panama. If you get on that plane before you get it done, you're just going to have to get on a plane to go back to get the same thing done that you should have done before you got on the plane. So that is the number one aha, oh my God, I messed up. And even we get caught. So when I say we started Go Explore Panama to help you not make the mistakes we made, one of the mistakes I made was getting on the plane without our marriage certificate being
Oh,
apostilled. And I had the original marriage certificate from, the wedding that had been at that point, I think it was like 18 years prior. Everything has to be within 6 months. So you just simply need to go to the county that the wedding was performed in and ask that county clerk for an updated copy of your marriage certificate and pay $5 or whatever, and they give it to you. So I got on the plane without that, and that created a situation where basically I wasn't legally married here in Panama for the first 2 years because I had to wait that long to go back. I'm joking. I just couldn't start my residency. I still had the wedding ring. I had the wedding ring.
I know your wife wasn't gonna play that. Like, on paper they don't think it's possible, but we know
Right.
what's going on.
Look, that's my joke. I used to run a comedy club. I'm not gonna say I used to be a comedian. I used to run a comedy club. Look, I got on stage and told some jokes and completely bombed. Can you imagine bombing in front of 200 black people? Oh my god!
Oh, look, let me tell you something. I know how we are about our jokes,
Right.
and we take that very, very seriously. And like, if anybody get up there, like, okay,
Right.
dog, who else is coming up here? Because you ain't it.
I'm like, I'm just saying, man. I'll show myself out.
There you go. There you go. But that's not an easy road. But I'm glad that you have. I mean, it's a hard lesson you learn bumping your own head up against the wall, but you have such, these valuable experiences that I know you help your clientele avoid altogether. And
Exactly.
with your clientele, it ranges. So how do you help families, singles, or retirees find their footing in Panama?
So I work with a group of experts who are really, really, really good at what they do. I'm basically a connecting piece and putting all of these services together and making sure people have access to the people who are professionals and know how to help. So the immigration attorney is going to work with families, singles, or retirees to identify which of the 26 visas is the best fit for you. For retirees who are drawing pensions, it's always going to be the pension auto visa because it's the fastest and cheapest visa to get, like 10 days. And your lawyer's fees should be somewhere around $1,500 to like $1,900 altogether. Some lawyers are going to be a little bit more expensive, and maybe they will give you Perrier water while you're in the office. I don't know, but I'm just saying, look for stuff in that range. If it's going above 1,900 to 2,000, you need to keep moving because now the phrase, now you're being gringoed. So
Yes, I've heard of the phrase.
you heard the phrase. That's they do think we all have a lot of money, and yeah, I mean we have the typical paramedic salary is $28,000. So yeah, most of us are coming here with more money than the
Yeah.
typical Panamanian. That doesn't mean we're rich because look, there's some real wealth here. I thought I saw wealth in Potomac, Maryland. Ooh, that canal money is deep.
I've seen some footage of various nice upscale neighborhoods, and I'm like, I don't even see that here, but it's very, very rich. I'll tell you that much, wherever area those are located in. But the realistic question is, how do you realistically live comfortably in Panama?
Oh, look, the cost of living is such that it's easy. So we moved from Washington, D.C. We had two mid six-figure incomes, and it looked like we were doing okay, but we were struggling. It was rough. There was a lot of sleepless nights. Are we going to keep this house? And oh my God, let me go get a side hustle to make ends meet. And the 401k ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I did a retirement calculator one time at the beginning of COVID. And the Social Security Administration told me I was going to have to work till I was 79 years old. And at the time, my dad was only 74. So I'm like, wait a minute, he ain't even there yet. So the cost of living here is so completely different. So like we have a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown San Francisco. It's a wonderful neighborhood. It's one of the largest neighborhoods in downtown Panama, and our rent's only $1,400 a month. The electric bill is about $100 a month, $150 a month, and we run the AC. Look, I'm gonna be comfortable. It is hot and humid in Panama City, but it's not as bad as DC in August. That sucks. This is more like DC in May. Springtime.
Right.
So, right. And then that's rainy season is the most humid time. Dry season, the humidity lifts and it just becomes perfect. 88-degree highs. It never gets in the 90s. We never have those heat waves that you experience in the U.S. with 100, 110 degrees. It has never been past 92 since in the 4.5 years I've been here. So it's a pretty steady climate. But going back to your question, the food here, you can find deals. You can eat at restaurants and pay a lot of money if you want to, or you can go to the mom and pop restaurants and get, country fed for $5 a plate. Stuff costs what stuff costs, but labor is cheap. So, getting your car repaired is a lot cheaper. Health services are a lot cheaper. We have a cleaning woman that comes. She charges $45 for the entire apartment. And when I say we have a 2-bedroom, let me back up. A lot of apartments here come with maids' quarters. They're used to
Yeah.
having live-in maids, and they don't count that towards your room count. So we really have a 3-bedroom. It would be a tight bedroom, but you could put a bed in there, and it's another full bath. So they just, they just include that. They throw that in. In the U.S., you pay extra for it. So
Yep.
our monthly budget for 2 people is hovering around $3,000, and we eat well. Look, as soon as I get off this podcast, we're going to order something for dinner and have it delivered because neither one of us feel like cooking. I've been talking all day. She's been working all day. And why cook when you don't have to? We're just going to, choose from 50 restaurants around us and have a little something delivered. Our lifestyle has completely changed. My birthday was this past weekend. We spent it up in the Cologne district. Surveying a little resort, and it was just amazing and surreal to us that even after all this time, we're still like, wow, we really did this, didn't we? So it still comes in shocks and waves, and one thing sad about that I can say is that we no longer experience that vacation dread that you used to get when you went to the DR or Aruba, and it was time to go back. And, I want to go back.
Yeah.
I gotta get back to work. And we don't feel that anymore because when we leave Aruba, we're coming to another tropical location with great views and palm trees and the whole nine. So, it's like, why be sad? We're not going to our place. So,
it sounds wonderful.
You can live well. That part is true. You can really live well here. You can do things and jazz clubs and all kinds of stuff to do, salsa dancing, and you're not going to spend as much money here just living day to day as you do in the United States. Our eggs are only $2, so they never went up. The price of beef hasn't gone up. There's everything that we have heard Americans complain about in the last 4.5 years about inflation. None of it hit here. None of it.
I cannot wait because just the $2 eggs have got my toes curling. Okay, I'm waiting on that for real.
Hey, getting your hair done, way cheap here, way cheap.
Yeah. Well, look, my scalp started tingling. Hold on, let me get to the next question before I get over the top thinking about all this good, less expensive lifestyle.
You're this close.
I cannot wait. Okay, I can't get there quick enough. But since you've been there for a minute, what was the biggest cultural adjustment you had to make?
I ask people the same question, and now I'm stumped. Okay, between how Panamanians drive, because they drive crazy, so it's a mix of for old school, showing my age. It's a mix of Freaknik with DC Beltway. Rush hour, a little bit of New York thrown in. And the thing about DC, you got to remember is there's a lot of diplomats that don't have to take driving lessons to drive in DC. So you have like 100,000 diplomatic tags and they can run over you and not be charged or anything. They have diplomatic immunity, so they drive like crazy. So it's a mix of that, Freaknik in New York, all put together. But I do drive here. The other cultural thing that was a shocker to me, Panamanians have a completely different sense of personal space. That little bubble that you had, a 3-foot bubble that we like, that's not going to exist here. Don't even think it. They will stand right up on you, over your shoulder. Like, what are you doing? So it took a little bit of adjustment to that. And then, being from DC, it's just keeping it real. We have those demeanors. I'm from North Carolina. When I got to DC, I spoke to a woman on the subway train, and she looked me up and down like, I don't know you. I'm just like, I just said good morning.
Exactly. I think Americans are programmed to be antisocial.
Exactly. I learned. I was there for almost 30 years, so I learned how to be like that, and I came here being that way. So, Sonia had to calm me down. The YouTube channel is growing, and I'm going places and people are recognizing me and calling my name out loud in the mall. And I'm like, I'm in a foreign country. Nobody knows me. Who are you? And she had to remind me, like, you put your face on YouTube.
Yeah,
So there's some
exactly.
adjustments. There's some adjustments.
I can imagine that because I've been studying up on stuff. And like I said, your channel is definitely a big help in getting me more knowledge before I actually land there.
Appreciate
But
it.
the real question I got for you is how do locals treat Black expats and entrepreneurs there?
Look, it's all love. Panama is 96% black and brown. 96%. That's 4% other. So it's a lot of brown, and it's about 46% black because, even though black's an artificial construct, let's talk about African descendants. 46% of the people here in the last census classify themselves as Afro-Panamanian. So they don't know that you're not Panamanian until you speak. They might have a clue because of how you dress, especially for men in the city. So when we first get here, we love t-shirts and shorts and flip-flops because it's hot. Men in the city typically wear pants during their work days, and I had to learn that. It's a really easy way for them to identify you as not being from here because you go to the grocery store in shorts on a Wednesday afternoon. And everybody else is in jeans. So for the first year, I'm like, how are they doing it? I don't understand. Jeans are so hot. Now I wear jeans because I'm used to it.
Okay.
But when I want to fit in, sometimes I'm just gonna give you gringo, whatever. Y'all can deal with this.
Right. Just deal. I can't do with the pants
I
today, but
can't do it today, but every time, sometimes I'm incognito. I wear my Panama football shirt, and invariably somebody comes up and starts asking me for directions. But now I have the ability to be like, okay, yeah, go down the street, turn left. So
okay.
it's
You know what?
working.
That's another thing because if you did a comparison rate, what
Mhm.
does Panama do better than the States?
Elections, helping people, healthcare, policing. Oh God, what else?
You got a whole
they do a lot. They do a lot of stuff better. Look, it's different. There's 1,001 ways to skin a cat, and we all came here or are coming here because the U.S. way of skinning cats really didn't sit with us too well. So be open to changes, be open to a different way of doing things. Panama is very process oriented, and sometimes that slows things down when you're dealing with the government, like immigration or getting licensed or getting your kids set up to go to school here. Just be patient, you'll get through it. The things they do very well, like healthcare. Just the fact that there's a public healthcare system here means that the government has a vested interest in its citizens not getting diabetes and having kidney transplants and heart failure and all that because the government's got to pay for that when you get
yeah.
sick. So they really work extra hard to make sure Panamanians are not consuming things that are bad for them. There's like a whole list of 26 foods that you can't get that you can get easily in the United States. You're not gonna get it here. Like, let me just go ahead and break some hearts. If you like Mountain Dew and Miller Yellow, this ain't the place. You got to bring it with you. They have their own versions of lemon lime sodas, but everything is smaller portions. It has less sugar in it. So when you open up a can of Coke here, if you do that, it's going to taste a little bit like Diet Coke to you, but you'll get used to it because it's good for you. It's not as much harmful crap in it as you've
Yeah.
been eating the whole life. So they make fitness accessible to everyone. They really encourage fitness and preventive medicine. Doctors here on the private side spend an hour or 2 hours with you during your intakes and your doctor's visits. So you get a thorough background. The doctor knows, he's asking about your life, so he understands your stress levels and how that's complicating whatever it is you're there complaining about or there to get seen. So healthcare deliveries is one thing that they do a lot better. And then, I'm going to throw in the policing because I'm a 56-year-old black man who is still suffering from some of the things that I experienced. The first time I got held by gunpoint by a law enforcement officer that was meant to protect and serve me, I was 11 years old on my own street. And he wanted to know what I was doing there. And I lived in an all black neighborhood in Durham. So I'm like, what are you doing here? Everybody here knows me.
That part. Okay. That part.
I'm Reverend Easley's son. Who are you? um, that was the first time, gunpoint just for walking down the street. So here, the citizens aren't afraid of police. They don't kill citizens. I don't know if people know this about the United States, but there is not a single federal agency that keeps track of citizens' death by cop. Newspapers track it, and then CDC came close to tracking it because they're recording how people die, but that police custody thing is hard to track because basically they fudge with the numbers, and that doesn't happen here. So that's a huge difference. That's and you see what's happening right now with law enforcement in the United States. They're being unleashed. So, and there's not going to be any culpability for or responsibility for them, and they know it. But here, they don't even give Panamanians tickets. They give them lectures when they pull them over for speeding or doing something, And I've gotten a lecture for making a wrong turn in Costco Viejo. The presidential palace is over there. People be on your P's and Q's. Watch those turns. Because I went down the street going towards the presidential palace, and the dude held me up for about 30 minutes lecturing me. He knew I didn't understand what he was saying, but he didn't care.
Like, yeah, you can either get a ticket or you can listen to me talk.
So guess what I did?
Okay. And speaking of which, because I know there's things you're not going to be crazy about when you live abroad.
Yes.
What is one thing that it still drives you crazy to this day, even though you've been in Panama for a minute?
I don't go back to the driving again.
I was about to say, and the way you describe the drive, it almost sounds like Houston out here.
Yeah, look. So either they're driving extremely slow and you're getting frustrated, like why aren't you making this turn, or they're crossing 4 lanes of traffic at the last minute to turn in front of you. That is really the most frustrating thing. Let me see if there's something else. Mail. Okay, so we had to stop all of our paper mail from the U.S. They have mail forwarding services here, and since we've been here, a lot of them have updated their services. But like Mailboxes, etc., is one that we've used. And you sign up for an account here. They give you a free PO box in Miami. Then you use that address for all of your packages, and whatever hits that PO box in Miami shows up here 2 days later. And it took a minute for me to realize that, we had forwarded mail before we left. And then we started getting junk mail, credit card statements, just everything under the sun. Even at family watching, I love y'all, but, I had to email me graduation announcements, email me birthday announcements, email me Christmas cards, because we're paying $2 to $3 for every single envelope that gets delivered. And that got old real quick, especially the junk mail. So the people I got most frustrated with was my bank, because they kept forwarding those life insurance offers. And I'm like, what does paperless mean to you people? I don't understand.
Exactly.
It's all English. It's your first language, right? Okay, great. So that was really, really frustrating. That cost some money. I know for Sonia, I can say this, she had a hard time with her hair. So she brought products from back home, and look, nothing is going to work like it does back home. When you hit this humidity, it's just a different monster.
Yeah.
So be ready for that. Be flexible for it. I will say the Panamanians know how to do our hair. That's another common question. Where can I get my hair done? I'm like, anywhere Panamanians go, because look, for fellas, they know how to fade to death. They can cut the designs and pictures in your head. Women, they can do perms. And then on top of that, there's expats that run shops that you can go to and really get someone knowledgeable on your hair. So that kind of stuff you'll learn to deal with. Halloween, pet peeve. They don't have Reese's peanut butter cups here. Fat Boy misses Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh man, that's okay. I'm gonna get my recipe, and then we're gonna make some homemade Reese's cups.
Here it is. I just saw one, but let me refine that. You can get like the special kind of Reese's cup, like the big cup or the white chocolate joints, but the plain chocolate 2 in a pack. You got to get the minis or.
Hey, look, where there's a will, there's a way. Cause I know
I
that.
mean, I had a grit smuggler. I had a grit smuggler. I had family. Yes. They would go home every 6 months, and when they came back, they would bring me 2 or 3 boxes of grits. And I talked about this in my YouTube show. So then, for like maybe 6 months, when I first started doing relocation tours, clients would just, hey, we brought a box of grits for you too. So, so I still got like 3 or 4 packages of grits in the kitchen that I haven't gone through yet, and I'm thankful. I'm so thankful. And now they do sell instant grits.
Okay, because I was about to say I'm about to go to hit the store up and get a bulk size of grits before we come out there.
Right. Well, I'm good. I'm good. My friend, and look, here's someone else to check out. Abroadability on YouTube. She brought back some grits from Jamaica, and them joints are lovely. They're like yellow color and everything. I love them joints this thick. So look, Fat Boy's got to get fat, but Fat Boy's not as fat as he was. I've lost maybe 40, 50 pounds just being here, exercising the same way that I exercise in DC. It's just the food and water. That's it.
I hear that a lot. A lot of people go there. The humidity does wonders for the skin. With the food not being as processed, you're naturally going to lose weight because of the smaller portions. And like I said, not over processed.
Not over processed. Yes, I mean it's a beautiful thing. Natural ingredients. Look, I still drink. Look, maracuya is Spanish for passion fruit, and it grows on trees here. Literally, they put it in everything, and I love it. Margaritas with maracuya, mojitos with maracuya, sangria with
Talking about that
maracuya.
mojitos, that you speaking my language now.
Ooh, yes, look, they can make some good cocktails here, so that's something I'm probably going to have to, slow down at some point in time. I don't know when, but at some point in time, I'm
Hey, at
sure.
some point in time, I mean, but a typical day with you and your wife, what does that look like?
So there's pre Go Explore Panama and there's post Go Explore Panama. So we right now our day is a little bit different. She's still remote working, so she has a regular work day. She gets up, she logs into the computer. She's on Teams meetings, talking to people and helping folks, and yelling at her computer when it's on mute and all that good stuff. My days are helping people. Like today's a pretty good example. I had 5 consultation calls about relocations, and then I had another call with expat that lives here who's looking to learn about doing some things with AI, and I'm very excited about that because she's going to be helping me out with some things. And now we're talking. So
Exactly.
that's a typical day for me. Tomorrow, I think I have 3 calls, and then I have to go out with somebody, or maybe there's like Thursday, I'm doing a neighborhood tour with a client, so I'll be out from 8:30 in the morning until about 5:30, depending on traffic. Taking him around the city, showing him all the neighborhoods, making sure he knows how to ride the subway. We're going to see a farmer's market and some grocery stores, and tell him what not to buy. Like, hey, leave that alone.
Yeah, don't mess with that.
Go to the South American and the Central American brands, because those American imports will hit your pockets real fast. So that typical day can change, but I'm looking forward to. She's about to stop doing what she's doing and come full time with Go Explore Panama, which means
Excellent.
we get to ride boats together and go on tours together, and just be able to get away anytime we want to, anytime there's a down period. And that's something that clients, let me tell you, I'm about to build it into my life. Part of the beauty of being here and being able to run a business is being able to run it the way you want to.
Oh, yes.
And,
Amen.
I'm learning how important that work-life balance is. So, I will continue to help people as much, but I'm going to carve out a week each month for just us to be able to go to Cologne and be at that Hotel Candy Rose, or take a trip to Bocas, or there's still parts of Panama. We've been here 4.5 years and we haven't been to Bocas yet. We haven't been to David, we haven't been to Paquete. So there's a lot of stuff that we still have to do here. And then, I want to get to Peru. The food is really, really, I didn't know that Peru was like one of the top food destinations on the planet. I'm a fat boy, so put that together. Got to go. I'm going to eat while I climb up to Machu Picchu and see what happens.
There we go. There we go. And matter of fact, I saw your latest interview you did with the Richardsons, and I
Oh, yeah.
love, their content on TikTok. But
They're good people. I love them.
yeah,
And we were neighbors. That's the funny thing. We lived in the same neighborhood in Prince George's County and didn't know each other there.
did you meet each other in Panama?
I met them in Panama. They contacted me for a consultation. I talked to them for about an hour and a half. Gave them the bobo. And next thing I know, I was with another client, taking her to meet Dr. Duncan, and ran right into Mrs. Richardson. And
Yes.
as she was coming from her doctor's appointment with the same doctor, so. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, you're here.
It was meant to happen. But I watched the full interview this morning, and just the scenery on the boat. Even though y'all were just bobbing and talking, but you got all this tropical vibes in the background. It's peaceful, and the experience that they're sharing with you and your guide and touring them, I was just like, dude, I cannot wait.
I appreciate it. Look, I hope you didn't get seasick watching it. I was a little worried about that when I saw the bobbing and everything.
Oh, I was good. It was motivational. It was motivational for me. I said, I can't wait to bob.
So look, that's going to be a thing for me. I really enjoyed that experience, and I'm going to continue to do the Real Expats of Panama video series. But instead of going to people's homes, we're just going to go out on a boat and have a conversation, because that was a really, really fun day. And I think it does a good job of highlighting how life can be lived here. Seeing the looks on their faces when they saw Tobago for the first time. And look, that wasn't even a picture perfect day. It rained. We had to sit in the rain when we first got to Tobago for about 20 minutes and 30 minutes. So look, Big Will's prepared. He had ponchos for clients and everything. They didn't get wet. We just sat and vibed, because since they were from the DMV, I felt comfortable playing the go-go. I don't make no excuses. Most of the time,
I peeped that. I was like, okay, look at them. They really showing their roots up in this video.
Yes. Most of the time I try to be cognizant of, playing with people would want to hear. If it's older retirees, I tend to lean into Motown and James Brown. And then if it's, younger people, okay, I'll give you some Migos or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But I love go-go, and I have a theory. So go-go is like the drums and the congos are the base of it. That's the same thing as salsa music. Look, salsa is African music.
Yes.
I was in Cartagena and met a trio called the Kunta Kinte Trio playing.
Come on now.
Right, playing in this cigar and rum bar in Cartagena. So when they announced themselves as the Kunta Kinte Trio, I'm like, I got to talk to you. So during a break, I ran up on them and translating, because I couldn't say anything in Spanish with my phone, but he quickly explained to me that they came up with the name because they were aware of the African influence in salsa music. They knew that the Africans from the Congo came to Colombia and were enslaved, and they brought the drums with them, and that became the basis of salsa music. And they wanted to name themselves something that paid homage to that. So I was high-fiving them, like, keep doing what you're doing. And they still play in the same spot. I cannot believe it. That was like 4.5 years ago when I first met them, but they are still in the same spot. I follow them on Instagram. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fanboy. But I got to believe that Go-Go would get the same experience. So I'm about to get a really, really, really loud sound system put in my car so I can be Panamanian too. Because I like loud stuff too.
Exactly.
So, and look, when your dad gets here, I know it's going to be on.
That's a whole other conversation about my dad. Okay. For you just do not know. But a lot of people are actually thinking about moving abroad.
Yes.
But they're a little, hesitant on actually making the commitment to do it. What would your advice be to somebody who is just on the fence about moving or living abroad?
Don't let fear stop you. Fear is really your imagination telling you what might happen. I need you to, instead of giving into the fear, start looking at the reality of what is actually happening around you and be calm about it, and realize, like, okay, rights are being rescinded, troops are on the ground in different cities, people are being disappeared, flashbangs, they're jumping out of Black Hawk helicopters. That is a military use only equipment, and they are using them against us. I just saw a man today that got detained, and he was telling people the whole time he was a U.S. citizen, and they didn't care. They kept telling him to shut up, just keep moving along. And this guy had to be in the 70s. And he saw them zip tie the baby. So look, it's not going to go away. It's not going to magically get better. Don't let fear stop you from doing what your brain is telling you the right thing to do. One of the things that kept us from doing this sooner was the fear that moving to Central America was going to have us in a less than situation. Yeah. We got this great brick house in Prince George's County. We live on a golf course, and had a Mustang 5.0 GT and my Jeep Grand Cherokee. She had a nice Acura. We were taking trips. Things look lovely. They look lovely. We were keeping up with the Joneses and everything. And we thought that doing this was, we were going to miss out on something. But like I keep saying, they have stuff here. They have all the stuff, all the clothes, all the watches, all the bags, all the sneakers. Lord knows they got all the sneakers. When you get to Albrook Mall, the one thing you're not going to see a shortage of are athletic shoe stores. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's amazing how many athletic shoe stores they have here. But they get stuff. Stop worrying about not having access to stuff. You can still watch television that you watch. Look, I was in a fantasy football league longer than was in my marriage. And I just celebrated my 23rd anniversary. I came here and won that fantasy football league twice in a row. I hope y'all are watching it. Twice in a row. They had to ship the trophy to me. They had to ship it.
You just gonna rub it in their faces, okay?
All the time. Non-stop. Twice in a row, back to back. So look, I did the draft from the rooftop pool at the Car and Auto Bay, and they were so mad at me because every time I would select, they would see me go jump in the pool.
You was doing double work, okay? I'm winning and I'm rubbing it in your face at the same time.
Exactly. The smack talk must continue. Look, and I was in a league with some of the best smack talkers on the planet, so I'm gonna give it to you before you give it to me. But we didn't miss out on anything. I was able to watch all the football games, and then it got better because life in DC. I was forced to watch that team. I hope she don't hear that.
They don't get in trouble.
They know. My whole wife's family were Washington fans, and they used to rib me for a long time. I'm like, I don't care what y'all say.
Hey, what fun would it be if you wasn't talking a little smoke? I mean, just let it be.
That's it. Spades, dominoes, whatever it is. Tunk.
I'm gonna talk.
That's what we need here. We need a tunk tournament. Somebody needs to come here and do a tunk tournament. I haven't seen that yet. Look. Shout out to the old heads that always want to play Bid Whiz. My parents taught me how to play that too, and I will beat you in it.
Well, I know one thing up front. Whenever we meet in person, I'm not trying to do no competition with Will because I know you take that seriously.
Very, very much so. Very much so. It's all in fun, but I'm gonna rub it in your face.
Okay, I understand.
And I hope you do it to me. I need that. Look, it's just gonna make me get better. That's all.
We both Libras. We are both Libras. We love talking smack. Okay, that's what it is, and can back it up too at the same time. But if anybody is thinking about moving to Panama, relocating to Panama, how can they find and use your services?
Oh my God, yes. So the website is Go Explore Panama's Go-Explore Panama all together. You can put that in Google and it'll take you to my website. Facebook is the same. Go Explore Panama without the dashes. There's a Facebook page for the group. On YouTube, we are Go Explore Panama, no dashes. So you can find me that way. Instagram, once again, Go Explore Panama. You see a theme? The only one that's different is TikTok. I couldn't do that with TikTok. So TikTok, I'm Black Satir 1. Gotcha. But the easiest way to find me is to go to the website, and then all of my contact information is there. You can even hit me on WhatsApp. So you can ask questions. I get, I review all the social media. I get Facebook Messenger, I get IG Messenger. It may take me a little time to get back to it, but I do get it. Email address is definitely the best. bigwill@go-explorepanama.com. That is bigwill@go-explorepanama.com.
Hey, people, I recommend highly that you have a consultation with him because, like I said, I still got questions. I still got that little nerve edge, like, oh, I'm scared, but I'm excited at the same time vibe. And when I had a consultation with you, I was just like, whew, okay, that wasn't too bad. I get the quick shot. Okay, I got it.
Yes, yes. There's life here. There's life to be enjoyed. It is pleasant. And, you're going to meet people. You're not going to have any problems finding expat communities. Look, your group is doing a good job of establishing a really great community. I've seen a lot of the residents join that group and how quickly it's growing. So kudos to you for putting that together and in the direction that you're taking it in. So it's not going to be hard to adjust. And likewise for anybody watching this, again, don't let fear stop you. If it's going to be fear, be afraid of what happens if you stay.
Ooh, that's my biggest one right there. Yeah, I can't do that. But I got to end this with a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want you to complete this sentence.
Okay.
Living in Panama has taught me.
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say the first thing that jumped in my mind was humility. This whole process, the downsizing, having to get rid of stuff, it was a game changer. We were in that rat race and just collecting things. And as we were getting rid of stuff, we had been in the house like 6 years, and I found 3 or 4 boxes that we packed to move into the house that we never unpacked. And I didn't even open them. I'm like, I don't know what's in them. We've been living fine without it.
Hey, there you go.
And that was the lesson, living fine without it. It really taught us what was important. We moved here with just 6 suitcases and then 1 box that got shipped. We made a mistake and put a lot of furniture in storage just in case, because fear. Well, in case this doesn't work out, we'll have to go back home and get a new place to live, but at least we won't have to buy new furniture. Look, that was a waste of money. Storage unit started out at $214 a month, and by the time I got rid of it, it was just over $400. It went up every single year.
Oof.
And you're a captive audience, and they know it. They know you're not going to not pay because, the auction is off. And which is exactly, close to what happened. I didn't sell anything. I contacted a very, very, very good cousin. Thank you so much for helping me out, who got access to the storage unit and basically had a yard sale. Call family, like, y'all come get it. Whatever's in there, my golf clubs. They gave away all of my suits and bow ties, cufflinks to a charity. Then everything else was just take it.
Yeah.
And the main thing for me was getting rid of that bill.
I know that's right. That's the main thing.
That $400 back, that's a game changer.
Exactly.
That's a whole weekend in Cologne.
Yeah, I'd rather be, chilling with that money instead of having a storage unit built. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Exactly. But I understand that downsizing part, because I am feeling it. I'm going through it right now.
Yes.
And it is definitely eye-opening, because when you look at all the things you've compiled, you probably haven't used it in over a year. It's just taking up space, and you just spent money on something, and it's just a waste.
And
So what?
you thought you needed it, but you really didn't need it. And to me, that's a humbling experience. It's like,
Yeah,
wow, okay, I learned a little bit about myself. So we try to watch. Now we have different rules. Like if we go to the mall and buy a new pair of shoes, okay, an old one has to go.
yeah,
We're
makes
not
sense.
going to be pack rats anymore. We're not going to just collect stuff
That's
because stuff is
good.
not important.
No, that's definitely a humbling experience I've had since we started this process. But Big Will, you are the man. I cannot wait to take one of your tours and be like the Richardsons and have the
It's
background of the
coming.
islands. I cannot wait.
It's coming. I want all of you. I want your dad and you, the three of you together on the boat at the same time.
Oh yeah,
We're
that's
gonna make that happen in a couple of weeks.
amen. From your mouth to God's ears,
There
man.
it
Y'all
is.
make sure y'all check out Go Explore Panama. Highly recommend you go ahead and book that consultation and overcome that fear. Live your best life.
There it is. Couldn't have said it better.